Chelsea have got a bit of an odd situation going on at the minute. Smashed in the week, looking at FFP problems at this moment in time. How confident are you ahead of the game this weekend, Andrew, up against Wolves?
Sorry, Tony, I got a shoot. But thanks for having me.
All right, brother.
Sorry,
I'll
guys.
speak to you soon. Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Yeah? Take care.
Cheers, mate. All right, bye.
Did you just use the word confidence in Chelsea in the same sentence?
He did that with me earlier. I don't know what's good with him.
I'm being nice.
I know. I just sorry. That sounds like you're trying to.
Whenever he asked me if I was confident, he's asking you if you was confident. I don't think he's watching the football nowadays. No way.
Terry, it's like you're trying to convince me 2 + 2 = 5 right now. When you're trying to say
it might.
Yeah, it might. The dodgy dealings. It might. Yeah, but no. Listen. I can't have confidence when I don't rate the manager at all, and I don't rate him giving instructions to the players to carry them out. Wednesday was a supreme example of that. Why would you go to Anfield and play a high line with a 39-year-old centre back? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? You wouldn't. You just wouldn't do that. Why would you play a guy in a false nine who doesn't want to play in a false nine and was playing like right wing, which allowed the defenders to pop up? I just don't have any confidence whatsoever. And by the way, I know you battered Wolves in the first half, but the second half they showed fight back. They could easily do that to us. They did it to us already this season. I've no confidence. There's no any Chelsea fans saying they've got confidence in us winning the game this weekend is either really hasn't watched it, just woken up from a coma for the last year or something, and is just doing it for a bit, because there should be no confidence in this team at this moment because they haven't earned it. Like they're on whatever you can say about social media yesterday, this report that everyone's happy above the manager with the recent results recently. Did you watch the games? Why would you be happy with it? You lost to Middlesbrough, you lost to Everton, etc. like that. There's no reason, there's no confidence from this fan base in this manager or these players, and you just can't do it. We are relying on individual brilliance. Relying on Cole Palmer being brilliant, and that's not fair to him whatsoever, because he's just, as much as I'll praise him, he's not played well the last couple of games, and I've got to criticise him for praising him that much. But we can't be allowing this guy to come in who's 21, barely played any football, like Premier League football, and to put it all on his shoulders. It's bad management, and it's bad from us fans to do that. So no, to a long-winded answer, no, I have no confidence at all because they haven't earned it.
I understand that. I want to play a clip. I want to get Staffy's opinion on this first, and then Dennis, and then we'll go through the rest of the boys. This is something that Jason Cundy has had to say in the last 24 hours about Chelsea, and I really want to get your take on this, boys.
Last night. It was boys v men. It was heartbreaking to watch, and unfortunately, we are a mid-table team, and we're playing against the best side in the country, possibly Europe. And we got at a collar's felt.
You finished 12th last season. You're 10th at the moment. You lost 12 games in the Premier League last season. You lost 9 so far. A long way to go. So it looks like you could lose even more. Are you going backwards?
We're definitely not going forwards.
Jason Cundy saying that Chelsea are now a mid-table team. 2 years in mid-table. Yeah. What do you make of that, Staffy? Do you think that's unfair on Chelsea at this point, or do you have to look at the league table 2 years running, the amount of defeats, the amount of inconsistencies, and say, no, they are a mid-table team now?
I think it's very realistic to say that. And I'm not even trying to diss them. So for me, I try to be as objective as possible when I talk with you about Chelsea. I think the only reason anyone still considers Chelsea, not the club, not the history, this current Chelsea, the only reason anyone still considers them a top 6 team is just purely because of the name. And if you're being really honest with yourself, they're a shadow of what they used to be. It's not even the same ownership. It's not the same management. It's not the same players. It's not even the same team that won the Champions League 2 years ago or whatever it was. So they're completely different. The only thing that stuck with them is the color blue and the name Chelsea. So when you judge them solely based on this season and last season, a lot of these players are overrated. And the manager himself, listen, I 100% hear it when people say punch out. And I 100% hear it when people say he's not doing the best. He's not getting the best out of players. He's not improving the team. A lot of the players regressed. I completely hear that. But a lot of these signings, I think, were highly overrated by the Chelsea fans. I think it's very easy to judge players and say they're good players when you're spending hefty fees on them. But when we look at Caicedo as an example, Caicedo's been a shadow himself at Chelsea ever since he went there from Brighton. And you can 100% listen. I'm 100% here to have a convo if it's the manager or if it's him just dropping off levels since he left. Same thing about Enzo. Most people didn't watch anything from Enzo outside of the World Cup. But ever since the World Cup, when you see the team that he's in now compared to the World Cup, the team that he had, he's not been delivering there. And I think he's overly criticized, but it's a conversation to have. Some other players, I said this yesterday on Hassan's channel, when you look at Broja as an example, everyone was like, oh, why are they playing Palmer false 9? Broja should be starting with no Nico Jackson. Where's Broja today? He got loaned out to Fulham. That just shows you the level that he's at. Remember when Mourinho said about his players, he was like, look at the players that I inherited, see where they are now, where they play, if they play.
Yeah,
that's the same thing that you do with this Chelsea team. Some of the players that left last year didn't go to great teams this year. And some of the players that they have now, they bought them in on hefty fees and they haven't done anything. They're just been rated based on the price that's been paid. They have not seen enough from these players to say they're actually that good. This is why when some Chelsea fans have conversations about their players, I'm like, you're just doing that based on what they did in other teams or what they thought they will be because you paid that amount for them. None of them, in my opinion, bar just a couple, have actually proved that they were worth the money. Outside of Cole Palmer, as an example, I can't really look at many players and be like, you know what, they've been amazing. Some of them, I think they're just underperforming now. I think they're still like better than what they're showing right now. But some players, I haven't seen anything from them, and I could start naming that. I just don't want to go through a lot of the names because there's a lot of them. Sterling, as an example, let's just be honest. Sterling is washed. He left City. He left City at the perfect time. City, they just, I don't know. I don't remember how much they got for him, but that was a robbery because he left for what, 40 something. That was the every player has a point where obviously we don't know when it's going to be, but the minute they hit that point, they just go down from there. That was the point for Sterling because what he's doing at Chelsea is just absolutely nothing. This is someone that's rated based on what he did for City, not for he's done for Chelsea. Because in the Chelsea jersey, he's done nothing.
Yeah, he's not.
As I said, the midfield as an example, you keep using Conor Gallagher. Conor Gallagher, I think to me, listen, it's crazy to me how a lot of people rate Conor Gallagher because he's basically your McTominay. He runs stuff. He just runs and tackles, and he's passionate. Probably because he has that Goldilocks hair, and people rate that. I've seen some people like just it's weird as it is. They just want him to play because they're sexually attracted to him. I'm like, I don't know how that helps you in football wise, but it's crazy.
The deal was £48 million. It was for Sterling.
There you go, almost £50 million for a player who just hit his decline ever since. Even Thiago Silva. How's he 39 and still starting for you in the Premier League? Like we used to see mid-table teams would sign watch players from the Serie A and La Liga. Be like, remember Stefan Cambiasso when he went to Leicester as an example? Everyone was like, wow, Cambiasso was such a great player. What's he doing in Leicester? He was washed. That's why. Salgado, remember him, the right back from Real Madrid when he went to Blackburn. We were like, wow, how did Salgado go to Blackburn? Because they were a mid-table team. No one really cared. The fact that I'm still seeing Thiago Silva starting for you day in, day out, when you're playing a back four, not a back three. He's been protected in a back three because of his age. That's when you won the Champions League. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I'm not dissing him. But the fact that he's starting in the back two at this age, it's just like it's so much on that pitch that's so bad that I just can't be like most Chelsea fans and say, you know what, Poch leaves because he's the issue. There's no chance Poch leaves and this team progresses right away. There's so much more that needs to change. But besides that, because Surfer, you know I respect your opinion so much when it comes to the Chelsea because you're very level-headed. But there's so much wrong with some of these players that Todd Bowley signed that I feel like Chelsea fans don't want to have these complicated conversations and they just use Poch as a scapegoat. That's
I've said this. How many times have I said this exact same statement to you? That Poch is.
But to be fair, Egal, you said it. Listen, if you just want to sit here and say it became true, that's fine. But I said that after seeing enough evidence of them being shit. I feel like there's a part of you being an Arsenal fan where people are not going to take you seriously. They're going to take it more as hate because you hate their club. And you said it a little bit too early. So fair enough if you want to say I've always
been saying that Todd Bowley, since he's come into Chelsea, the way that they've been doing their recruitment, the way that they've chopped and changed decisions, going from when Tuchel came in, when Tuchel made those signings, which were win now signings, to now going very strong with the youth and selling players. I felt like they didn't really have a direction. They didn't have a plan. They don't know exactly what they're doing with their signings. And you can tell by how some of these signings are looking horrific in just a year after the signings. So it is definitely mostly on the owners. I get why people are going to be on the manager, but who picks the managers? I get why you guys are going to criticize the players, but who's paying these players and giving them these ridiculous wages?
They're not on ridiculous wages. They've reduced the wage bill.
Sterling at the time was.
Sterling. This is where I will.
He's your only bad wage at this point, right?
But I will go with the owners about who they hired, because they went from a totally 180 2022 summer from 2023 January to a total 180. I believe they've given too much power and they're listening too much to these sporting directors who don't know anything about being at a big club, and that's on the owners for picking them as well. What I will get on Poch is that arguably every player has gone backwards. Everyone will go on Enzo, but Enzo was actually playing well under Potter. We were better defensively under Potter as well. Everyone goes, oh, he's only playing Cole at left back because your left backs aren't fit. No, all our left backs were fit during the season, and he still played Cole there. He played Chilwell at left wing for 5 games and thought that was good. He leaves Caicedo as a 6, asked Enzo to play a 10, asked Gallagher to play in the pivot, changes his centre-back partnerships nearly every day, plays Gusto as a right back when we have left backs, plays Cucurella at a right back. It's just, and like I said, Wednesday, your tactic is to go to Anfield with a high line. Are you out of your mind?
But this is where
big time, because I genuinely think, right, that Chelsea are going to make one of the biggest jumps from this season to next season. I'm telling you for an absolute fact, because there's a lot of money spent on that football club. Now, they spent the money wrong. I think everyone agrees with that. They spent too much money. What they've got is they've had a lot of new players come in and a new manager come in, and it's not going to hit the ground running. When you've got so many new personalities in the door, it's never going to go perfectly. But I think the jump next season will be massive. I've seen it with my own club, Arsenal. There was a period under Arteta where we were not winning a single game. It was literally the depths where people were talking about relegation with our club. We suddenly beat Chelsea 3-1 with Smith Rowe having a brilliant game. And then out of nowhere, we started to actually hit some kind of form, building it. And then since that game onwards this season, we've just gone leaps and bounds every single year. I think the same thing's happening with Chelsea sooner rather than later. Right now, it's looking bad. It's looking like the trenches, mid-table, etc. He's experimenting. He's just come in the door. He's got so many different players. He's trying some players here, some players there. Who works, who doesn't work. I agree performances as a whole have been bad. I agree. But I do think that the man needs some time. It's a brand new situation. And I think he's seeing...
Let me say this.
I don't see the model working. I just don't see the model working.
Right, I see.
I agree with you, but you have to give the man time. Like, what Pochettino does best is he is a coach. He proved at Tottenham. He's not a win-now manager. He's a coach. He will get a group of players, and over time, he will improve them.
Chelsea don't have patience.
He's the worst coach. He's the worst coach in this league. He's the worst coach.
That's very hard.
He got out-coached by Ten Hag. Okay? He got out-coached by Ten Hag. Okay?
I can hear that. That's a very good argument.
He's the worst coach. He doesn't coach. Do you know what he is? He's not evolved as a coach since Spurs. That's the thing. We're all going back to Spurs, to Southampton. Oh, we'll do well with the youth team players. I actually rate him for lying on his interview, because that's what you should do to get a job, to lie on your interview, because they never check properly. But he has come in and totally done a 180 from pre-season. He's not stuck to what he did at pre-season. We're actually doing well. But he's not stuck to it. And he keeps repeating the same mistakes, trying to make them work. You can't leave Caicedo in a single 6 away, playing Enzo at a 10, etc., etc. Listen, I don't rate Mudryk, but his decisions, Mudryk was getting some kind of form, just drops in for no reason. Talk about Broja. Yeah, I think Broja's trash. He scores in a game, looks like he's playing well, drops in for the next game. The most consistent thing about this guy is the inconsistencies about him. And I agree. Listen, I think if we weren't 10th, you wouldn't be hearing a lot of Chelsea fans. If we were 7th like that, I think you wouldn't hear a lot at all. It's just that we're just in 10th, okay? But
you're getting clowned because you spent a lot of money. That's the fact of the matter. I think if you spent 200 million, like Arsenal, you wouldn't get clowned like that.
Spending the money doesn't. I don't care how much you spend, because the transfer market's crazy. Okay, so I don't really care. Now, what I will say is this, and I'm starting to think about it. Everyone goes, "Oh, experience is a problem." Our experienced players are arguably the worst players this season.
Yeah, I agree with that.
They are
That
the
is
worst
true.
players this season.
That is
Everyone goes
true.
back. Ben Chilwell's performance is the worst 45
Yo,
performance
he
I've
was
seen.
dog against us.
It was crap. And Thiago Silva's attempt to that tackle on Jota, where he just like dangles his foot in to try and take the ball off him, was rubbish. And Raheem Sterling is still trying to find his way out of Conor Bradley's pockets because he made Conor Bradley look like a seasoned veteran. And then Gallagher. Listen, Gallagher's Gallagher. I can't really criticize Gallagher because he's crap. All right, so it'd be like kicking someone when they're down. But the fact that most rival fans, although now they're starting to see after we played Liverpool, the actual player he is, started to think he's our best player because he runs around. It's a problem. That's an insult to Poch as a coach. That's an insult to you that others think Gallagher's your player of the season. That's that you should look at yourself and go, how is that possible? And what he's done is he's now tied himself to Gallagher, and because he's chosen him as the leader of this team. And if Gallagher's your leader of this team, you might as well surrender right away.
I hear you guys on that.